Okay, guys, I thought I'd show you a little bit what we've accomplished over the holiday weekend, and I'm trying something different. I got this camera balanced, so we'll see how well that goes. It's hard for me to show you stuff and do it with one hand and hold the camera with the other. So we'll see how far this goes before something happens. But we've got the body has all been soldered up, and I'll show you how the construction is on this thing. Got the roof so that will slide off. Now I will have to put supports up in here because it's flexible. But all we did is, this is kind of a basic Lionel construction off of their 10 series box cars. 2 individual pieces here. And then I've got a piece across the back, which I set up the distance for the door. So I got everything set up for the baggage door, and it slides back and forth. I will take and set up a rail for it, a guide, and what I'm using is brass channel. And that will sit right down in here, right behind, I believe it's just enough clearance that it will sit in front of these screws. I'll solder it down, and that's what that will ride in. Here's the construction of it all. Get it pulled out gently, don't want to bend it. And I screw it. This brass plate is threaded, and I screw it down, and it holds everything. It registers it all and holds everything as it should. So we've done real well with this. We've got to get the ends. I got to get them formed, and I'll show you how I did the side plates. These are off the Lionel Alco. That's what we started out with. Took and I drilled holes here, lined everything up, and this just comes right off as such. And there you go. Everything's registered, so it just sits back on, and it gives a pleasant effect. And once I get it. Now, I know the motor runs. I got to get it wired up. I'm using I've got a pickup here, and I'm going to split this pickup right in two. Right where the hole is, I'll cut it right there. That will give enough meat on both sides that I can use. I can turn this from my 1 pickup to 2 pickups and use it on another project. But that's how it's coming along. Something else I'll show you. In the case of this motor, all I've done is used 3/16 drill rod. I never modified anything on this motor other than the fact that I pulled the wheels off of it. Now, if you wanted to put this back into a Lionel post-war diesel, you could do so, because I haven't done. You reinstalled the original wheels, press them on, and wire it up, and you're ready to go. But this is how I did it using American Flyer template wheels. Here's my shaft. This is the wheel. It's drilled out to, basically it's 3/16. 0.187 is what it is. So I chucked the wheel up into a 3-jaw lathe. I bore it out. It's a really, really nice, tight fit. And to make sure that they're true, I put them in a power handheld electric drill and spin the ever-living hell out of them. And they're very true. And then I take an axle collet, and I screw it up there, and I solder it. But I've got a jig for this. And here's the jig. It's a 3/16 axle. It's threaded on one end. I set the distance that I want for the wheel against the axle collet. I take this nut and I screw it down tight. Then I check for squareness. Then I take and I solder it up all the way around that, and it becomes all part of the wheel. And then I can adjust my gauge, which is what I've done with these. As you can see, right there is the collet, and that allows me, and the gears that I turn down, I got set screws. That allows me to move this back and forth and set the gauge on them. So everything will be fine. And I like a little bit of slop. As you can see, there's movement. You need movement when you go into the curves because this is a rigid frame. But that's how things are going here at the Corgi Bootleg Production shops. I've got one other thing that we got to figure out is the ends. Got to form and cut them. Here's the front. I've already got it cut out. I've got windows applied. I haven't put it in my brake vise and turn back the corners on it. It'll have an 1/8 inch band on each side, and then that way it will allow it to slide right into the body here, and I can solder it. But that's where we're at right now. I'm pretty much, I think, done for the season. I have the scent of a woman in my nose, so I'm going to be gone from here for a while. I doubt that I'll get much more of this done. Maybe I'll finish it before the New Year's. Maybe I won't. But that's where we're at. So you guys have a good holiday, and there's more yet to come. Later.